Hey everyone, my name is Gavin and I love horror. One of the first things people often say to me when I say that I love horror is that they don't do horror, whether it's too gory for them or they just get too scared. Not all horror movies have to be a traumatizing experience. Looking at you, Hereditary. But instead can be a fun roller coaster ride that gets your heart pounding but isn't going to keep you up for 1,000 nights in a row. Therefore, I've compiled a list of my top 5 favorite horror movies for non-horror fans. Let's get spooky. Number 1, Shaun of the Dead. Released in the UK in April of 2004 before making its way to the US in September of that year, Shaun of the Dead stars Simon Pegg and Nick Frost as 20-something roommates who unwillingly find themselves in the middle of a zombie outbreak. This film would go on to launch the career of Pegg, Frost, and director Edgar Wright, who would go on to direct Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and hipster favorite Baby Driver. Shaun of the Dead is incredibly funny, endlessly quotable, and has some great gore effects. One of my favorite bits of the movie involves Queen's Can't Stop Me Now, which you'll always associate with this movie after seeing it. This movie has a special place in my cold, dead heart, as I remember my dad bringing home a bootleg that a coworker gave him from the UK version. So I got to see this movie before it came out in the US. So I had to be like super pretentious. So thanks, Dad. Number 2, Happy Death Day. This 2017 Blumhouse-produced horror flick is essentially a horror version of Bill Murray's Groundhog Day. Jessica Roth stars as Tree, a sorority girl who keeps getting killed over and over by someone wearing a baby mask. Each time she dies, she wakes up back in the bed of her college classmate Carter, and she has to try to avoid dying again, which actually sounds like a lot of my random hookups. It has no right to be as good as it is, but somehow it finds the right balance of likable characters, fun kills, a good mystery, and a sweet love story. Something lacking in most horror films. The film did get a just as fun sequel, Happy Death Day to You, with a third hopefully being officially announced sometime soon. Number 3, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. 2010 cult classic Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is one of the most genre-defining horror comedies of the past 20 years. Starring Tyler Labine and Alan Tudyk, the latter of which you know from Firefly, Dodgeball, and Chicken Hey Hey from Moana. Yeah, seriously. Everybody with kids right now is like, oh, he's the chicken from that Moana movie. Okay. The two stars friends Tucker and Dale who have recently bought a fixer-upper of a lake house in West Virginia. In that same area, a group of teens are planning a fun vacation, but keep having run-ins and mishaps with Tucker and Dale, which leads to their accidental and bloody deaths. The idea of two groups of characters being afraid of each other is a hilarious premise, which Tucker and Dale vs. Evil pulls off nicely. The sweet love story between Tucker and camper Allison also makes this a fun movie for date night, even if your date isn't into horror. And as a bonus, the movie is currently streaming on Netflix, which is awesome because we all have Netflix, or steal it from our friends, family, or strangers. A sequel has long been rumored, but has yet to come to fruition. Give us what we want, which is a sequel to this movie. Number 4, Killer Klowns from Outer Space. If you want a horror film with minimal scares but maximum fun, I said that, didn't I? I hate myself more than you'll ever hate me for saying it. You can't go wrong with 1988's Killer Klowns from Outer Space. If Pennywise and It are too scary for you, this is a fun alternative that shouldn't trigger your coulrophobia too much. Killer Klowns features a wacky story involving cotton candy cocoons, killer shadow puppets, acid pies, and some of the most fun creature designs of the 1980s. This one is perfect for anyone who wants to experience 80s horror without being freaked out by Freddy or Jason. Oh, and this movie has a straight banger of a theme song. Seriously, replace our national anthem with that and all the world's problems will go away. Number 5, Cabin in the Woods. I've saved my personal favorite for last, 2012's Cabin in the Woods, written by Drew Goddard and Joss Whedon of Buffy the Vampire Slayer fame, and Avengers, and a bunch of other stuff. The film completely throws you for a loop for what you think it's about. Starting off as a straight horror film, but drifting off into a brilliant satire of the genre, Cabin in the Woods will have you rewinding to see things you've missed. Featuring an all-star cast including pre-Thor Chris Hemsworth, it also stars Richard Jenkins and Jesse Williams, aka Dr. Jackson Avery from Grey's Anatomy. What? I can like horror movies and Grey's Anatomy, okay? It's basically a horror movie. It's got gore, death, and Meredith Grey is like the only original cast member left. Boo you a final girl. Cabin in the Woods is just a lot of fun and is a perfect toe-in-the-water movie for that non-horror fan in your life. There you have it. Those are my recommendations for anyone who doesn't like horror. Is there anything that I missed? Should I do another one of these videos? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'd like to give a special thanks to everybody who's encouraged me to go out and start my own YouTube channel. I've loved horror for a long time, and I have a very basic understanding of iMovie, so that's all you need to start a YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, and as always, don't forget, stay weird.